And we're going to be welcoming in Andrea, Miss Andrea
Hello.
Crum.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing
I'm
today?
good. I'm good. It's so good to be here.
Good. I'm so glad to have you. By the way, I love your bright colors. You got this big bright smile. This is really uplifting.
It's summertime.
It is. Yes, I know. I'm so excited. I live in Florida, so it's sunny and happy. How is it where you are?
It is nice today. It's a little muggy, but it's good. It's good.
Where are you
Good.
at, Andrea? Where are you coming to us from?
Dallas.
She's in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in my hometown area in Dallas. And just so you know, guys, we are across the country today. We are having people from California to the Northeast to Texas. I'm in Florida, Southern Florida, so we are all over the country today. So let's start off, Andrea. Tell us about your career evolution. That is our theme this time. So if you could run us through how you got to the point that you are, you have a very cool story. So I'm excited to hear it again.
Thank you. Awesome. So I was in corporate for 25 years, and I had worked at 3 organizations during that time, and built my career. I started out at Nortel Networks, where I started out in high school, actually, and then I worked my way to a managerial position there at Nortel. I was there for 11 years, and then I went to Mary Kay Cosmetics, the corporate offices there, and was there for about 12 years. That's where I spent most of my time in leadership. And then after that, I went to a company called Norwex, and I was there for about a year and a half, and I was a member of the executive team there. So I've gotten to do a lot of wonderful things in my career. Most of my time in my career has been in marketing. So it's been very fun, very fast paced, a lot of creative, amazing people. And basically, we're talking here about like career evolution and
Right.
purpose, my purpose path, basically. What happened was back in, I would say, August, when my last role was no longer there, I was looking around and going, what was that? God, what was that? What was that about? I mean, that's really I actually asked that question. Because I had been in an organization for 11 years and another one for 12 years. And so I thought this last organization was going to be kind of my last long stint. And I was just going to kind of have my, career in thirds. And so after that wasn't going to be what was going to happen, I really started getting this mantra and then this prayer of, I want my next thing to get me closer to my end thing. And what I realized was that I had not been intentional about my career. I had certainly loved the roles that I had, and they were always very exciting, but I wasn't necessarily on a specific path, or I wasn't picking roles that were going to get me where I wanted to go. And what I knew for myself is that when I retired, I always wanted to be in women's leadership development. I wanted to coach women. I wanted to train them in leadership. I wanted to write. I wanted to speak. I wanted to do all these things in personal development, but I figured I would do that when I retired. And when I didn't have to, quite honestly, make the same level of income that I did before. So maybe my kids would be out of college and my house would be paid off. And then, I can do what I really want to do, right? And so I'm going through this process. I have this mantra and I want my next thing to get me closer to my end thing. And what I really realized is I was going to start inching closer to this goal. And my goal was still 10 to 15 years away. It was going to be way far off, but I just wanted to be intentional. And so I basically just looked at life kind of looked at it like a spectrum, I guess. So if this is where I want to go, this is where I'm right here as where I am, then I just want to kind of inch my way a little bit.
Oh, we froze. That's okay. Where are you?
Do you see me?
Yeah, there you are. Now you're good. Oh, nope. She froze again. That's all right. Hey, COVID, technical issues, Murphy's Law. What are you going to do?
Do you see me now?
A little bit. There's a little bit of delay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. There you are. Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of figured if I was just going to inch my way, then maybe I would go into some corporate HR roles and things like that and just get more experience in that training and personal development space. And basically through that whole journey, I just really felt in my quiet time and my prayer that God was saying, it's not 10 to 15 years from now. It's now. You're ready. You have the skills. you've been doing this for 15 years in leadership specifically. And so time to go. And so I started,
so tell us kind of what you've been working with women and all of that. What have you learned about leadership as you've done it on your own? Because I know you're training people on, but you still learn, right, as you go. So what have you learned from the women that you've been coaching, and what additional kind of skills have you gained as you go?
Can you?
Sure, you're breaking up again. That's okay. So Andrea, I think Andrea's having a little bit of technical difficulty. That's okay. Let's see. Are you back with us? I think she's moving again.
I'm back.
Okay, she's back. Yay! All right. So basically, what new skills? So you've been doing this for a little bit now, right? How is it? What evolutions are you seeing? What types of advice can you give to women in leadership right now that are wanting to grow, that are wanting to pivot?
Yeah. So, in their leadership skills specifically, yeah. So, I think one of the things, the reason that I started my company, Genuinely You Leadership, was to help women to lead more genuinely while also still getting results for their organization. It's a process of leading with both your heart and your head. And so many times as leaders, we feel like we can do one or the other. We can either get results or we can have a really great team dynamic where everybody loves us, but it's really hard for us to manage both of those. And the biggest advice I can give to women in leadership is that really take it and examine. And I was listening to Michaela on the previous episode.
Oh, she's listening to Michaela. We know that. That's all right. We're just gonna. It's like she's leaving us in suspense.
I know.
That's what it is. I think she's doing it on purpose. Yeah, she's just like, we're like, what's happening? So you're listening to Michaela.
Yes. And a lot of times on our journey, we fall into the leadership pit. So everything is going great. And then that first level for women is typically stress, overwhelm, exhaustion. And that's where most women live most of the time. And then what happens is when we stay in that place for a really long time, we can go even further down into that pit. We go into, addictions. We can go into anxiety, depression disorders. We can go into unhealthy lifestyle. We can go into career identity. We can do, the workaholicism and all of that stuff. We can just really lose ourselves. And so I think the main thing to discover or recover who you genuinely are is really to take a good look at where you're at and figure out if you're actually on solid ground or if you're somewhere in the pit. And if you're in the pit, you got to you got to work to get
100%. And actually we've talked about that multiple times, is staying energized, keeping yourself cycling. And Michaela gave some good tips, there. So professionally, how do you tell people to get out of those pits?
Professionally, so similar to some of the things that were said, but it's taking a break. Sometimes it's walking away for a little bit, especially with women. We take on so much responsibility. We don't want to let anybody down. We have high expectations for ourselves. And so a lot of times it's about, especially if you're on the first level of the pit, which is that stress, overwhelm, exhaustion, take a break. And that might mean take a vacation, and that's hard in the season right now, but we've all kind of been, staying at home, but it could be getting up earlier in the morning and having quiet time. It could be meditation. It could be yoga. There's things that we can be doing even in this season, yoga, whatever that is, that's about, you guys used the word rejuvenation earlier. It's that rejuvenation time. Really good to do that earlier in the day, but be really mindful of that. And kind of step away, put boundaries around your time limits at work and things like that. Things that are going to make you feel good. So that's the first. And then if you're lower on the pit, honestly, a lot of that is about getting a little bit more help sometimes. Sometimes that's therapy, sometimes that's medical help. So sometimes we need those things. So that's kind of how I coach women.
100% agree. And I also want to bring up, so in my segment, much earlier at the very beginning of the show, we talked about ethics as you grow, right? And keeping your ethics and keeping your sense of self, essentially, and what's important to you. So when you're coaching and I was really excited to get your take on this. So when you're coaching these amazing, female leaders and helping them reach their next level and find their purpose, how do you coach that aspect with them? How do you address that portion of the puzzle?
And when you say ethics, I'm assuming you mean being genuinely who you are, being your authentic self, like staying
Right.
true to who you are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's the biggest part of the journey for genuine leadership, really. And that's actually the first step when I talk to women is about significance. First of all, it's about knowing your value. It's about knowing your worth. And then it's about, and then figuring out who that genuine person is. And a lot of times we overuse our strengths. So what happens is we lean too far into one. And when we lean too far into one, the other one goes down. And so genuine leadership to me is about leading in balance.
Right. Oh, she's leaving us in suspense again. Here we go. We've got balance, and now it's and now we don't know.
You don't even
now we don't know. Just balance. It's just hanging out there on a cliff. Oh, here we go. All right, she's back.
I mean, I think that's a great point, right? I mean, you've got to have balance in how you approach different situations.
Yes.
Continue on, Andrea.
Yeah. Thank you for filling in there. And so a lot of times we're leaning in. So for me, I lean in when I get really stressed and I'm in the pit, I'm going to lean into my action-oriented self. And the compassion that I have kind of goes away because I'm all about urgency and getting things done and getting the results.
Right.
And I have to know that about myself to go, oops, you're going there. And I need to stop. Yep. I need to reassess. And I need to go, okay, you're full of compassion. You need to be thinking about what's going on with the other person. So that really is where I, help to train or develop women is to really get to that place.
It's like understanding, awesome. It's kind of understanding where, what the healthy version of you and the unhealthy version of you is.
Right.
Absolutely. And like strength finders, it's like basement and balcony, but we want to be on solid ground.
Right. And I always tell people, I actually like to sit down once a week. I kind of schedule a time. Dan and I are very big on schedules, if you haven't noticed. I like to really schedule a time for me to kind of stop and reflect and make sure that I'm on track with my exits, with my ethics, and that I am doing the things that I need to stay, with those other parts of myself. Because like you said, I'm a bulldozer, man. I will just go and go and go and go. And, but you do have to stop and reflect, right? You got to remember, wait a minute, right? Empathy and compassion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love that you're calling it ethics. It's like our own code of integrity, right? I love that.
Right.
Fantastic.
Right. Yeah. And it is. And people think ethics is this, is more things like, be kind to others. It's not that simple. It's what's important to you. It's what's inside you, your personal morals and ethics.
It's that genuineness. I love that word. I mean, there's some key words all day today that have come up. We were talking earlier about rejuvenation, and then I think just genuineness. I mean, to me, that just paints a picture of, and then how that relates into my core values is authenticity.
Yeah.
Just being who you really are. Oftentimes I have to remind myself, be authentic today. That's what people want. They don't want the facade version of you. They want the authentic version of you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's very, very true.
And what I think about with genuine, it's just got that connotation of the realness and the heart. That's kind of what I think of when I hear that word.
Right. And I love that I love that you put that word into your company name, because, it just immediately makes people smile and feel comfortable. And I do want to thank you so much for coming on today, Andrea. You've been great. It's been wonderful. Please connect with Andrea. She's on LinkedIn. She will reach out to you. She's very conversational. She's an absolute blast to talk to. So reach out to her. Ladies, if you're looking to grow, here you go. This lady will teach you how to do it.
Come hang out with me. Thank you so much. It's been
Thanks,
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.